Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm sharing 10 cards made with Spellbinders Card Kit of the Month for February 2020. Now if you missed the unboxing, I created this cute little unicorn. I'll link it at the end in case you want to check out how I made it. But this is made with the dies that are included in this month's kit. This month's kit is called Unicorn Dreams. Super fun, lots of playful and bright cheery colors. And so we're going to jump in and kind of do a little altering with our unicorn here. Originally during my unboxing, I wanted to make my unicorn with a full mane, a nice thick full flowy mane. So I decided to add extra. Well, I wanted a little bit more now. And I wanted to switch sides. So I just peeled off that piece that was kind of curling behind her neck. Peeled it off and then tacked it down to the left side of her, and then I'm going to fill in some more colors of her mane. So I just die cut out a few extra of the main pieces with pink and purple cardstock and blue, and then I was happy with the outcome. I wanted it to look almost like it was flowing in the wind, and so putting it to the left was a little bit more cohesive for me. Okay. It's pretty heavy. In fact, it wants to fall off. So I'm going to tape it really good with some foam adhesive. This is foam adhesive for my stash. It's a lot thinner than the foam adhesive that came in the kit. So that's why I used the thicker stuff. Okay, for my background, I'm going to trim down a piece of the pattern paper from the 6x6 paper pad. I trimmed it down to 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. This way it'll leave me a little bit of a border. And you can see there the thickness of the tape that came in the kit was a little bit wider. And she has a lot of dimension, so I wanted to keep it a little bit flatter with that thinner foam tape. Okay, I adhered my background panel, and I also adhered my unicorn to my card base. The card base is the card bases that are included in the kit. And then for my sentiment, I'm going to use one of the stickers. The sticker says, "Don't be afraid to be great." I thought that was very inspiring. I'm going to finish off my card with a few of the sequins. I'm just using the pink. There's a mix of like a rose gold metallic color, and there's a real shimmery pink. I just chose the pink sequins. But that finishes off card 1. Now moving along to card number 2, we're going to use the stamp set. We're going to create a rainbow card. So there's these arches that you could use different colored inks to make a rainbow. So I'm going to be using 4 different colors of inks. I'm going to actually coordinate them with this sticker here as a guide. So we're going to use pinks, yellows, purples, and blues, kind of following that rainbow order. So starting with the pink, we're going to create an entire background on this white cardstock. Now this white cardstock measures 4.5 inches by 3 1/4. So that's my background panel there. I'm just filling it in, twisting and turning it, and wiping up my graph mat. I sped it up really quick so I could create the background in a timely manner, but I decided to add scratch paper underneath my rainbow panel here. Next color, we're going in with yellow. Now, you know what? I did take my time and created my background, but I wasn't concerned about it being perfect. I think there's some that have the white line showing in between each of the layers, and that didn't bother me. In fact, it kind of just brought it to life a little bit more. Made it look more natural, I guess, homemade. And it didn't bother me. They lined up pretty easy. And you can see here the finished outcome was lovely. I liked it. The only one that really bothered me was that corner one. The very top corner one, I went a little crazy and my spacing was a little way off. But after I have my sentiment in the center of this panel, it wasn't that noticeable. Now there were some spots that I missed, and so I just gonna restamp my rainbow order. First we went the pink, then the yellow, then the purple, then the blue, and then we're just going to fill in those open areas. With the rainbows and the arches, it's a little bit difficult because I wasn't sure about the thickness. But I think that looks great. I am going to take the star that's in the stamp set and any open areas I'm going to fill in with a star, and I'm going to stamp that with black ink just to make it stand out a little bit. This star was like the perfect filler for all those open areas. Now in the stamp set there is an outline of a rainbow, and each of these arches will fit in that outline. I thought that was pretty neat too. We're just twisting and turning, filling in this open area, kind of creating our own rainbow background panel. And I think that looks fabulous. Okay, for my sentiment, I have a smaller piece of cardstock. Now this measures 1 3/4 inches by 2 inches, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. The sentiment here says never stop chasing rainbows. I'm stamping that with black ink, and then I did trim off the top a little bit, again to make it measure 2.5 inches, or yeah, 2 inches tall. Now on another piece of cardstock, I'm going to create the same order of a rainbow using those arches. Okay, and then after I have everything stamped, I'm going to fussy cut it out. And then I did decide to go in and use black ink and stamp the outline of the rainbow, just because it coordinated better with my sentiment. And then I popped it up with foam adhesive, added it to my sentiment, and then backed it on some gold cardstock. I did finish it off adding some gold glitter to the rainbow above the sentiment, and then also to all those stars in my background. I lost a little bit of footage there, but it was pretty easy to finish off. Okay, for my next card, I trimmed down a piece of the rainbow pattern paper to a 1-inch strip, and we're going to go ahead and adhere the word love, just the bottom of it, with some glue to the top portion of that rainbow strip. We're going to make a landscape style card. Once that's adhered, I'm going to trim off the left side, and then I did tuck my ice cream under the right side and then popped everything up with foam adhesive. We're just going to remove the release paper and then add this to the bottom of our card base. And all of our card bases today are used with the 10 card bases that came with the kit, which is super nice. Once that's adhered, I did take 2 of the hearts from the die cut pack. We're going to add our gold one first, and then add the blue one, offsetting it just a little bit. And I was going to leave that bottom area white on the card base, and I thought, you know what, we have that gold cardstock. So I trimmed down a thin strip, and we're just going to glue that to the very bottom. There's a lot of gold in the card, and I thought it just went well with it. For finishing touches, we're going to bring some more of that glitter glue in. And I'm going to add some dots to my ice cream, add some little sprinkles, and we're going to add some glitter lines to that rainbow pattern paper, just sparkling it up a bit. I was skipping every other one and then decided to go ahead and fill in all the different colors of the rainbow, just separating them with that glitter glue. And I'm making a mess with that glitter glue. I have it all over the gold cardstock, but it's pretty easy to wipe off. But this card could be a universal card. Great for any occasion, I think. And I think it's colorful and fun, and I hope you couldn't hear the vacuum. But that finishes off that card. I'm going to flip that out. I kind of pressed down a little too hard wiping that glue off. Okay, for my next card, we're going to make a floral card. So my pink panel here, it measures 3 3/4 inches tall by 2 3/4 inches wide. I'm going to go ahead and adhere a floral panel that measures 3 3/4 inches by 2 3/4 inches to the very top. Basically, we have a 1-inch pink pattern paper on the bottom. Now, I don't mind layering these papers together, because they're not very heavyweight, and the more layers you add, the more stability you have for your panel. But I'm actually going to add some gray cardstock behind it. We're going to mat it on the gray cardstock that came in the kit, and this is only because I'm going to pop this panel up with foam adhesive. Just using the tape, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and I'm just leaving a very thin matte background of the gray. I didn't want too much of the gray showing. There's excess overhanging, so we're going to trim the excess off, and that's going to be our main panel. I'm going to pop up our little floral die cut. It matches that pattern paper beautifully. I'm just using the foam adhesive that came in the kit, and I'm going to place this over the seam. Just remove the release paper here. This is a pretty simple card, but I think the colors are gorgeous, nice and bright. Okay, I think that looks great. We'll flip this over, add foam tape, and this is going to go, actually I didn't add foam tape, I went directly to the card base with this. Okay, that's in the center of our card base. For my sentiment, we're going to use the sticker strips. I'm going to go ahead and mat this on a piece of the gray cardstock that we used to trim off for our matting. There was a thin leftover piece, and I thought it would work perfect. We're going to go ahead and add foam adhesive behind there, add that over the florals, and then add some sparkle with some more of the glitter glue. And then that is a pretty simple card, but I love the way it looks. That finishes off that card. Okay, next card, we're going to use some more of this rainbow pattern paper. It's so pretty and bright and cheery. I'm going to trim down a panel. The panel size here is 3.5 inches wide, and it's 5.5 inches tall. So it's going to go the full length of my card base. We're going to go ahead and add some tape behind it and adhere this to the right side of our card base, and that way we have a little bit of a white area showing on the left. Once this is adhered, I'm going to use some glue, and I did trim down a very thin strip of the gold cardstock. This is going to go right next to the seam, kind of finishing it off. And then I'm going to use some more of the die cut pieces. There are some word bubbles or thought bubbles that say kind and smart and caring and beautiful. And there's more colorful ones too, but I chose all the white ones. And I just added foam adhesive behind them. I kind of placed them on my panel the way I wanted them. And then I'm going to use the ampersand in the sticker book, add that. And then once I'm happy with where the ampersand is, I'm going to go ahead and tack down my thought bubbles. Now I have tons of leftover flowers that we die cut from when we made our unicorn, so we're going to put those to good use. They're such pretty little flowers. And I have a rainbow of colors too, so I'm going to cover up the part of the thought bubble or speech bubble that's supposed to go to the person that's talking with flowers. I just used different colors, making sure that the colors that I used weren't the same colors that were in the background. And then I did go ahead and add some leaves to that too. For the center of the flowers, I'm going to go ahead and add a little dimension with using some Nuvo Simply White crystal drops. It's going to add a little bit of dimension. And then that finishes off that card. Nice and bright and cheery. Okay, for my next card, we're going to create kind of a masculine card, I could say. I think this would probably be great for Father's Day. I have 2 pieces of the pattern papers. I'm going to mat the yellow on top of the hashtag one. The sizes of these are the blue hashtag is 4 inches by 5 1/4, and then the yellow is 3 3/4 inches by 5. You can see I die cut out a window in there and adhered that to my card base. And then we're going to go ahead and pop up our award that says super. And then I'm going to pop up my little die cut piece that's the hashtag. And then there's 2 stars that were in the die cut pack that are, we have 2 of each of the die cut pieces. So these are 2 of the same stars. But I'm going to add foam adhesive behind there and add them just above our little award there. And I think we're missing just one thing. So we're going to go through the sticker book. In the sticker book, there's a sticker that's yellow and it says fantastic. I think that's going to go perfect in that open area. There's a little bit of gold on it too. I'm just going to add foam adhesive and put that on the inside of the window. And then I am going to call this card done. Nice little masculine card. For my next card, it's a pretty easy card. I trimmed down this piece of pattern paper. So the stars were in the corner, so I just trimmed off the leftover of the purple area. And then we'll go ahead and adhere this to our card base. It's going to leave me a little bit of a white border. I popped up one of the die cut pieces that says creative, and then I also popped up the die cut piece that says stay. So my sentiment says stay creative. And then I took the other 4 stars that were in the die cut pack, and we're going to pop those up with foam adhesive, and they fit perfectly in these stars that are on the pattern paper. So we're just adding 4 there. Then I thought we'd add a little more sparkle with our glitter glue. We're going to add it to the lines, make them stand out a little bit, and also to the little stars, the center of the stars. And that finishes off that card. For my next card, I have a 1-inch strip of the paint splattered paper. We're going to adhere that to the left of our card base. We're going to add a 1/4-inch strip of the gold cardstock over the seam. Then you can see I have some die cut pieces. I really wanted to use the paint in the paintbrush. I have the sentiment that says "Stay Unique," and I changed my mind. I thought we would use one of these stickers, so I chose "Good Times Ahead." I'm going to go ahead and add my paintbrush on the inside of my paint palette there. We're going to flip it around and add foam adhesive. This card here is what I was having a little bit of trouble with. This is my trouble card. So we're going to add our paint palette, figuring out where to put it. And I didn't like it there, so we're going to scoot it down a little bit. And didn't like it there, so we're going to scoot it up a little bit. And then finally, I think it's a good place right there. Okay, now I don't like where my sticker is, so I'm going to carefully pick this up, because you can remove the stickers carefully, but you could pick up the card base with it. I think there's good for now, and the operative word is for now, because I end up moving it one more time. I added the thought bubble. It says I love the weekend, and then I decided to sparkle it up with a few of the pink sequins, and I was going to add a heart and change my mind. We're going to put that back, and then I decided to add a little bit of glitter to the heart on the thought bubble, or the word bubble, and then I'm going to go over the paint on our little palette there, and also the paintbrush with a little bit of sparkle. And I'm going to move my Good Times Ahead up just a little bit, and then we're going to call that card done. My trouble card. But it'd be good for a crafty friend. Okay, for my next card, this one is pretty simple, but I just love the striking colors of it. I'm taking some of the pink cardstock that was in our kit. The width of this measures 1 3/4 inches. Sorry, I'm adhering that to a white panel. Now the white panel measures 3 3/4 inches by 5. Then I covered the seam with some more of the gold cardstock. Okay, so that's our background. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. I'm going to use the sentiment in our stamp set that says, "You were born to sparkle." I really love the star in this 3D sticker set. So I thought "You were born to sparkle" went perfect with it. I stamped it with black ink, and then we're going to take our star here, and it's already layered for you. And I'm going to layer the tail of it over the gold strip over the seam. And I just think that looks it looks very clean, but I like the way it turned out. And then we're going to add a few of the die cut out sparkles that we die cut out with gold cardstock. The largest one I popped up with foam adhesive, and then the 2 smaller ones we're just going to glue down. And I thought about adding those and then changed my mind. I think I wanted to keep it clean and simple. Okay, we're going to go ahead and flip this panel over, add foam adhesive behind it, and we'll adhere that to our card base. And then we got to add more sparkle using our glitter glue. We're going to add it to the center of the sticker, and then also to our die cut out gold sparkles, and then to the tail of our star there. And that finishes off that card. And then for my final card today, something about that, it just looks so clean and simple. I liked it. Okay, final card, we're going to use the Girl Power pattern paper. For some reason, this reminded me of a superhero pattern paper. I'm trimming this down here. I'm trimming it down to 5¼ inches by 4. So it's going to leave me a very small border showing on my card base. So we have a little bit of white peeking out. We're going to go ahead and adhere this, just using our tape, to the card front. We're going to make another portrait style card. No, landscape, sorry. I get it mixed up. Okay. I have 2 rainbows, 2 lightning bolts, and then I have a die cut piece that says Girl Power. And you know what? My eyes saw Girl Power immediately, but you know what? It doesn't actually spell Girl Power. It spells GRLPWR. Isn't that funny how it kind of tricks our eyes? Okay, I'm adding foam adhesive behind that. I'm using the foam adhesive that came in the kit because it's taller than the 3M that I'm using for the rainbows here. I'm not using the rainbows as rainbows. I wanted to use them kind of as a bullseye. So we're popping those up with foam adhesive, placing them in the center of our card base, kind of overlapping them a little bit to create a circle, kind of a circle, kind of an off circle. Okay, and then we're going to add our Girl Power right in the center. And that's why I only added tape to the letters there. Okay, with the lightning bolts, I thought these would go perfect over the seams. So I'm adding foam adhesive to the end, and then I will add glue to the other side there. And then you can't even tell that there are 2 rainbows there. And I lost the other lightning bolt. I actually dropped it on the floor. I had to go pick it up. Good thing I found it. But we'll go ahead and add foam adhesive to one side, glue on the other, and then we'll tape that over the seam. And I think that looks so super power-ish. Okay, for added sparkle, we're going to bring back the glitter glue. And then that finishes off card number 10. Fun card. Okay, so those are the 10 cards that I made, guys. We'll take a quick look at all of them once more. There's our pretty unicorn made with the dies. And then we have our stamp rainbow card. We have a beautiful floral birthday card. We have our ice cream, rainbow ice cream. And we have our masculine card here. We also have our, I hope this gives you a variety, guys, on how to use the Spellbinders kits. I always look for different ideas on how to use it. But some of my glue's still wet. That's why I'm not overlapping them. I'm afraid to smear that glitter. But I hope this gives you some ideas on how to use the kit. Super fun kit. I think it's bright and cheery. Now, I have tons left over. I always like to share with you guys everything that's left over in my card kits. So I'm going to bring back the empty box and share with you everything that's left over. There is so much left over. You could easily create more cards. But I trim my papers, my cardstock in half. So I have all 8 and then half of a gold. There's some quarter sheets and then some scraps. So lots of cardstock. And then I have my 6x6 Unicorn Dream pattern paper. I have lots of paper still left over, and I do keep my scraps. I just trim off the top of the package it came in, and then I tuck my scraps behind there. And then we have our stamp set, a rainbow stamp set. Still has a cute unicorn on there. We have tons of die cut pieces. This month you get 2 of each of them, so we got lots left. Lots of stickers left. And then we also have our memory cards, lots of memory cards. And then we have our dies, our unicorn dies. And then we have our sequins. We have a little bit of foam adhesive and lots of tape left over. And I'm missing one of my dies. We're going to stick that back on there. But that is what we have left over. Lots left over, huh? And then that's our little ingredient sheet. So that's the card kit of the month for February 2020 from Spellbinders. If you're interested in it, the links are down below. I thank you for joining me, guys. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.